Last time on Tutorials with Naswalt.
Hello, it's Tutorials with Naswalt, and today I'll be teaching you how to use a free online DAW resource known as Audiotool. Care to join?
Wow, that video audio sure is fucked up. I hope you're used to hearing a lot of that. What's up, fuckers? So what you want to do is actually open up Audiotool so you can use it. Don't ever close this window. Tip of the day is wonderful. It gives me stuff that I've never even known about. If you hit this box, I'll hit your knees. We're going to not save any of this. We're going to drag in a mixer. So over here, you have your devices. And over here, you have your workspace. And over here, you have your timeline. Devices, tools, synthesizers, effects. This, workspace. This is where all the magic happens. This is where you say what the magic is going to be, your timeline. So I got my scroll wheel, I can scroll in and out. I can also hit these buttons here if I'm messing around with a really bad trackpad. And here on the timeline, I can zoom in and out by grabbing this. I can also double click to fully zoom in or zoom out. I can take here and say that I don't want to make a really long song. So I'm going to drag it in so my zooming's a little easier. And here's my loop tool. I can turn that on and off up here. Amazing. Now that we're all on some basics, I'm going to leave this on the Smart tool. You have options here to change your grid over to anything else, some 16th triplets, some bars, but I'm going to leave it on regular old Smart because it makes it easy and I'm lazy. So we have a mixer here. Now mixer is going to be taking different audio signals and we're going to be running them together into this sum out. That's where all of them are going to be coming out and it's going to be going to our main audio output. Let's say limiter off. I'm going to turn it all the way up. Our goal is to not have any audio clip, drag in a pulverizzer. This is the main synthesizer we're going to be working with. So I'm going to take this and let's make some chords out of it. So when it comes down here, we automatically get a note track. If we want to add another, then we just go to create note track and boom, and we can get rid of it right there. So I have this. I double click to add one. I hit backspace to get rid of it, or I can hold down Control and just drag it over and I have a complete duplicate of that one. But this one has nothing going on right now. You see when I double click it, we get this keyboard roll. Wow, that sounds really bad. So we're going to take that and drag it on over. Go ahead and turn on all of our different oscillators. Now remember our audio path we have from our oscillators to our filter to our envelope and then out. There's a couple different ways that we can route this. We can route an LFO back to our oscillator or to our filter or to a handful of different places. Here we got the oscillator and the filter, and we got a thing called pulse width modulation that does run back to the oscillators. Then for our modulators, these are our different envelopes right here. We can run one back to the filter or to the regular amp, which is going to be how it gets out. So we're going to take some notes here. Wow, that sounds really pleasing. So let's do A minor 7. Let's go ahead and make this ever more pleasing to hear. Alright, and what I'm doing to drag the notes here is I'm just holding down that control. So now we got an A minor 7, and I'm going to lower everything down an octave because that's a little piercing. So now let's listen back to it. Yeah, that's a little nicer. Let's cut down the frequency a little bit. Let's add some other oscillators to them. Let's get one on triangle, another one on a sawtooth. Let's detune them ever so slightly. Not a whole crazy lot. I'm going to do this one by 9. And now, trancy. So let's go ahead and route a little bit of our envelope to our filter. So we're going to give it a little bit of attack, good deal of decay, medium sustain. Let's give it a little more sustain. And then let's do about the same thing over here on this one, but let's make it far less dramatic. And now let's turn down our main volume over here. Let's give it some pulse width modulation. Let's give it a little bit of interest. Make it probably around 1 hertz. Normally it's kind of nice. Alright, a little resonance. Let's give it some attitude. And let's take one of these down. Alright, I'm liking that. So let's route an effect into it. So I'm going to do stereo to tune right here. I'm going to take and have our input go into the input of this, out to the output that we have on the board. Stereo to tune makes it a little more wavy. So we're also going to add a little bit of delay. And normally I would advise adding delay last. Delay and reverb and other time-based effects. Chorus isn't all that heavy, flanger isn't all that heavy, but reverb and delay in particular can eat up a lot of your processing power. So make that about 100 BPM. And that's how you know it's a time-based effect. Listen to whenever I change the BPM. See how it's out of tune now? Okay, we got a pretty nice sounding chord. Let's get a synth bass to go along with that. So we're going to do a lot of the same things that we did on the first one. I'm going to go through a whole lot faster. I really like sawtooth on a synth bass, like a lot. And triangle is just kind of good and steady. Let's put all these down on about -2. Let's give it a generic kind of syncopated bass line, a kind of generic chopper sound. So let's go. Alright. So now I'm going to lower it down quite a bit. We're going to give it a lot more decay, absolutely no sustain, a little bit of release to make it sound natural. So now let's see where we're sitting. Alright, so now let's detune this ever so slightly. Yeah, do 6, -9, leave the other one alone. Once again, pulse width modulation I think is just really friendly. We're not going to do a whole lot because we don't want to affect the actual low end of the bass too much, and we're going to give it a little bit of that sweet filter envelope. And we're going to give it a longer filter envelope. And then we're going to lower a lot by an octave, actually. Alright, I'm liking that. A little bit of resonance. Alright, now we're going to do a little bit of effects processing. So I'm going to split up our synth bass here, and I'm going to do some really basic EQ after this. So we're going to have one that's going to be the main out, and I'm going to run it through some distortion here. So I'm going to blend it down to 0. I'm going to bring the drive somewhere above 50, and I'm going to run another one through, once again, some stereo to tune and just add some wonderful character. So we should have these running into 2 and 3. The second one should be the one that we have our stereo to tune. So I'm going to turn it down, take out the low end, and the first one, I'm going to take out the high end. We're going to have a lot of mid crossover, but that's okay, because I messed up where that was going. So now let's hear that again. So now we can control some of that high end there. Let's bring that all the way back up. And that's sounding real nice and boomy. Okay, so the next thing our track needs are some drums. So we have a couple different drum processors up here. I'm going to drag in our kind of machinist ripoff that we got. I like this drum machine a lot because I can just drag in whenever I want. So what I'm doing here is I'm running the individual channels to our mixer so that we have complete control. I'm going to go ahead and actually get rid of that master. And I'm going to go over here to samples, and I'm going to type in like kick, and I'm going to spell it right, and everybody's going to be real happy. So, no, I like that one. That's from a Korg Vocala Beats mixed with a hi-hat sample, and then I'm going to take in a snare. Now, one of these is garbage, one of these is good. Thank goodness all you have to hear is the good one today. And I'm going to pitch down that snare just a little bit, same with the kick, and I'm not going to do drum patterns like this on it. You can click them in, you can change a handful of different things. We're not going to do that. We're going to go down, and we're going to make a note track for this, because it's just so much more pleasing to work with this. Your bottom note is always going to be here on a G sharp, and then it's going to be going down. The smart way to do this is to start from top to bottom and do it like it's a standard MIDI keyboard. That way it would start on your C and then go up. So we would have a kick and a snare up there. So let me move the master over here so you can see what I'm talking about. So, and that's kind of your more traditional way of doing it. But I like working it from the bottom because it just makes sense that your kick would be at the bottom. So we'll just have it like that. And I'm going to take this loop and I'm going to drag this out to be like that. And then same with the bass. And let's go ahead and give ourselves another note here. Alright, and to save on our processing power a little bit, how I was talking about with reverb and delay, I'm going to run this through to an aux bus. So I'm going to take our output, that's okay, from our aux1 send, and I'm going to run it through this reverb unit, And I'm going to take our feedback and our damp. I'm going to get rid of some of the pre-delay. And I'm going to go ahead and crank it all the way to 100. Now let's run that through to our drums. So we're going to give just a little bit there and see how they sound. And then you can control your levels for each one. It's a lot better than having a reverb unit on each individual drum track that we lay out. So, but let's ignore all this and pretend that none of this ever happened. This is baby shit. And we want to be making actual good music that takes good effort. None of this synthesizer bullshit. So we're going to delete all of this. And we're going to go over here to a secret pro move that not many people know about. And this is loops. So, top down seat back, rolling in my Cadillac, strolling into Mickey D's, gonna get a Big Mac, bitch. Yeah, what you gonna do? Take a number one and turn it into a number two combo, motherfucker. Better give me that Mick Clucker, yeah. And that's how you use Audiotool.